Okay, so this angle here is 133
It's the end of the day
because it's isosceles.
at Mora High School,
Everybody gets a point if you write it down correctly. How's that?
and 10th graders are studying math in Jayson Pautzke's geometry class.
Which side C?
But look around the edges of the classroom, and Pautzke's fascination with a certain brand of candy dispenser really starts to add up.
We got the office. This one I ordered online. I had to have it. Well, I don't think any other teachers have Pez dispensers in their classroom.
Pautzke says he started collecting Pez dispensers more than 20 years ago, after a student gave him one as a gift.
So this is the one that started the collection in my classroom.
The next thing he knew, other students started bringing them in for him too, and his Pez collection kept getting bigger and bigger.
I had a student bring one in to me this morning. I think last week I had a student bring me one, an Easter one. So they still do it after all these years. And it's now grown to almost 600 in the room.
Pautzke has Pez dispensers in all shapes and sizes.
You know what? I'm going to take this one out.
From superheroes to Star Wars. Not only are they lined up on top of his whiteboard, they're also on display on a pair of windowsills and on a table in the back of the room.
The big ones, Darth Vader, Charlie Brown, the Dallas Cowboy one, even though I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. I just enjoy the dispenser itself. And the head that's on each dispenser, and it brings me back to my childhood too, somewhat. You know, a lot of these are characters that I watched growing up as a kid, cartoon characters. And
Pautzke says there's no rhyme or reason to how he organizes his Pez army.
so I don't consider myself a serious collector or anything in that regard. It's just a fun little hobby that I think a lot of the students kind of enjoy too.
But that's not the case with other Pez heads, as they're called, who categorize their prized possessions with an almost military precision.
I'm very neat, and I like to have them in a certain order, and I'm sure you could analyze that, and it would say a lot about me, but I just own it and, and go with it.
Andy Arnold has nearly 3,000 of them in her basement in Owatonna.
And that's a really rare variation of witches.
Including rare versions like a bride and groom that were handed out as wedding favors when the president of Pez's niece got married. And Mary Poppins, which got recalled because Disney didn't like how it turned out.
Actually, all of the Disney ones from the 60s are terrifying. You know, I would like to think I might be the reigning Pez queen of Minnesota. Bubble Boy, he's way back here, but I can bring one out. I don't want to be a pessimist. I'm optimistic I will get them all at some point.
In fact, Arnold says she has every Pez dispenser ever released to the public, except 3.
It's just fun. I really enjoy sharing this. It brings a lot of joy. It's fun to invite, whether it's kids or adults, to view the collection. It's a great conversation starter, and I love seeing people light up.
Speaking of lighting up, the first Pez dispenser actually looked like a lighter because the candies started off as breath mints and were advertised as a way for people to stop smoking. But the American public didn't want to put out their cigarettes, so the Austrian company changed the candy's flavor from minty to fruity and started marketing to kids.
And it's always handy when it's time for Pez candy.
Pez introduced the first full-body shaped dispensers, a robot and Santa Claus, in the 1950s, but they were complex and expensive to make.
Realized it was a little bit too much, so then they switched pretty quickly to just the stem and head on the top.
A witch was the first contraption with the now familiar character head on top of a rectangular base, and Pez took off from there.
Pez, it's like printing money.
Now a Netflix documentary called The Pez Outlaw that chronicles the bizarre tale of a Michigan man who smuggled illegal Pez products into the U.S. from Europe is giving the popular pastime a second look.
It's like a whole world of Pez collecting. So there's a lot of us out there, more than people realize, which might be frightening to some.
I have like Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Game of Thrones, Smurfs, Elvis, and The Grinch.
Pez may be a way to bring back their childhood for some, but Evan Peliquin is still in the middle of his.
My favorite one is the giant Darth Vader. I like it because it's big. And I also like the Elvis one because there's not a lot of those.
The 13-year-old has been collecting Pez since he was 4, and now he has more than 300 dispensers lining the wall in his bedroom in Rochester.
I think it's super colorful and like it adds a pop to my room.
In fact, his mom keeps track of them all on a spreadsheet, so he doesn't get doubles, and friends and relatives know which ones to get him.
So if we were to find one that was wrapped over unwrapped, we're getting it.
I like to collect them because it's unique. Not a lot of people do it, and I just enjoy to do it.
Collecting Pez may come down to a matter of taste.
No, I actually don't like Pez candy at all. I think it tastes like chocolate.
I mean, the candy, it's just a hard piece of sugar. I mean, it's not, you don't get it for the candy, in my opinion.
Just fill him with the Pez candy refill. He's fun.
But diehards say they'll take their love for Pez to the grave.
Just kind of how long will you continue collecting?
Until I die. No.
Maybe I'll have to tell my wife, okay, when my days are done, I want my favorite Pez dispenser with me.
For Maury Stories, Maury Glover, Fox 9.